So we're just going to the tables now. So we've got Noah Hicks on the left, and we've got Emad Kashy from Team Toxic on the right. So these Zen lists are very fast now. We've seen that Zen always been an aggro hero, but we're just seeing that level of optimization in these last few weeks over the US Nationals.
Definitely. I think we've seen everybody go from 6 bonds, 6 descendants into 9 bonds, 6 descendants into now just 9 and 9, and just bringing it every which way you can to get this combo out, knowing that you're going to transcend as soon as possible. You're going to hit that traverse, maybe hit an Art of War, and those are going to be your power turns up and over anything that your opponent's 4 cards can defend with.
And it'd be interesting to see what weapons Zen brings in. Now, we saw in the US, we saw Zephyr Needle coming into play, which is very good against Kano without any attacks, not being able to block for aggro. But
so we've got something even more interesting, and I was warned about this yesterday, actually. Yes. I was told to keep an eye out for Zens on Talishar.
Here we go.
So very interesting. You're really expecting, I don't want this turn. I don't want this game to go more than 3 turns because my weapon only swings 3 times. It's that simple.
Absolutely. It's been quite funny. George Rogers' team, Team Toxic, they've been sitting on this for a while. Certainly in certain servers, they have been giving people hints, but it's great to see it in action now. Yep. So, of course, Zephyr Needle, the opponent can choose to destroy it. Talishar destroys itself. So.
Absolutely. And Emad here opting not to bring in Traverse the Universe because how often is Kano actually playing an attack action card into you that you can use to block with it and search? So instead we've got 2 Spellfray and 2 Arcane Barrier, which I think fits Zen's cost curve very nicely. You can prevent 4 of that arcane damage on that big turn if you still have 2 resources floating after you've pitched a blue to start your turn off with a Descendant Gust Wave, for example.
Now we've got Red Cindering Foresight, which is going to allow the Opt 3, which can be very valuable in Kano. Just putting those to the bottom, though. He's not happy with what he's seen. But leaving the Lessening Lava on top. So Lessening Lava, as you see, these players are playing lightning fast here. They're not taking any chances here. Okay, so Lessening Lava for 5.
They know they get, and there is Oasis Respite coming out from Zen here. So fully covering Lesson in Lava, which notably is preventing Noah from searching out that combo piece to then put in Arsenal, whether he chooses Blazing or Wildfire, pop it in Arsenal, get ready to go. But that's not happening this turn. So
absolutely, and we saw that Oasis Respite can get in the way of your combos. It seems like Kashy doesn't care. He really just wants to come in with the blocks and just prevent that death.
And it looks like he's drawn another one there. So with 2 bonds in hand as well.
Which is pretty great when Kano's coming at you with a full hand. So good.
Absolutely.
So we were saying Zen is pure aggro, but obviously he's not looking to race here. He is looking just to prevent and hit back.
Yeah, certainly. Wait for those moments, and if you can Arsenal that Oasis. Zen doesn't need 5 cards to do 20 damage on a turn. He can very happily do it with 4.
Got Gaze
Cindering into Cindering.
Yep, into Gaze the Ages. So yep, Gaze the Ages comes back into hand after played. Amazing card from Crucible War. I remember that card was announced. It caused scenes. Absolutely amazing card for Kano here.
Absolutely.
Okay, getting some card draw now off Tome of Fiendel.
Yeah.
Again, just went, Wildfire's in hand. That's the first bit of the combo piece. Probably want to Arsenal that.
Well, Tome of Fiendel's also in hand as well, so that may be interesting to see. Although Noah does still have an action point, so maybe you just play Tome of Fiendel out, draw 2 cards, maybe you can ping some arcane damage off Kano, Arsenal that Wildfire, and feel like you're in a better spot moving forward.
I believe he might... Oh, here we go. So coming in with Ether Quickening. So it has Go Again if it has a... that deals more than 2 damage.
Yep.
So really demanding a bit of a block here.
Yeah, it's something you don't see very relevant in a lot of Kano lists that are looking for that one big Aether Wildfire combo because they mostly play on their opponent's turn. But on turn 1 of the game here, where you have buffed it up with Cindering Foresight, that Go Again can be very relevant because it's played as an instant, and now Noah has the opportunity to play that Tome of Fiendel, keep an action point on his turn because he now has 2, he still hasn't used it. And have more space to play, or just keep digging with Kano with more blues, right? Your goal is to get some chip damage in, find that combo, sculpt it, and make sure it can go up and over.
And looking at Zen's side, in terms of Arcane Barrier, we can see 2 AB and 2 Spell Voids. That Spell Void's going to come in real handy against those big Wildfires later on in the game.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So opting to Arsenal there, and, Noah saw 10, 11 cards this turn, not even counting the opts, I think. So as we keep going down, he's getting closer to that second wildfire, that blazing, those energy potions, those things that really need to come out. And an unfortunate banish.
Oh. Yeah, so Ancestral Harmony wanting to see a combo card. Now, we're seeing Zen slowed up on cards like 100 Wins and Spinning Wheel Kick, which are really just 0-3s and 1-4s go-agains, but they have that combo, which is really what you want to see for Ancestral. So to banish not a non-combo, but an Art of War is devastating for Zen.
And especially in this matchup where it can be a little bit harder to transcend because you're not getting that chi back with your helmet. Those Art of Wars become, just a little bit more important. That being said, even Zen with, I think, what a lot of Zens may call a bit of a clunky hand, 2 bonds, no Descendant, didn't find one, still coming in for a respectable amount of damage. We'll see what this Spinning Wheel Kick is followed up with, whether it be a swing of the sword, or if we just play that bonds out, put it into grave, then we can search it up again in the future.
Okay.
So we're still thinking on blocks here. Noah evaluating how much is this life total worth? How close am I to my combo? Oh, opting to go straight for the arsenal there. Wants to keep that resource card in hand in case Kano decides to do something dangerous at the end of Zen's turn there. And that's exactly what you'd love to see off the top. Kano into Energy Potion. That makes your endgame combo that much more potent. And Aether Arc, again, just angling at that chip damage bit by bit. We're not aiming for the surge ability here. Sorry, apologies. Aether Arc does not have surge. It's just if it deals damage, you get that ponder.
And there he goes. Kano really wanting those potions out, and he was really struggling, but there you go, 2 out all immediately. So really, this game is really fast.
Yep.
Okay. Descending Guff Wave. The question is, what's going to follow it?
Well, we know Emad held a bonds in hand at the end of last turn.
Mm-hmm.
And there are good targets to banish there. We do have the Spinning Wheel Kick. We do have that that Tiger Body combo piece as well. That's 0 for 3 go again, lets you keep some of those resources for Kano to keep floating. And this was a red bonds as well, which is, the best time to play this card out. When you're playing it on your yellow bonds or your blue bonds, losing that combo ability and that go again is very disappointing.
And you're saying keeping pitch floating. Now, as Kano gets those potions out, keeping that pitch floating is going to be pivotal to this game to be able to prevent an arcane barrier. Because the last thing you want to do is throw a load of attacks but have no pitch remaining to defend yourself.
Definitely. You always want to be holding that too, so you can, fully blank that first Aether, or almost fully blank that first Aether Wildfire when you add in your Spell Fray equipment as well. But then after that, you probably want to have another 2 more to try to blank that second Aether Wildfire as well. Because Noah's looking at this board saying, 1 Aether Wildfire will not cut it. You got to find, a combo extender, that extra trick to keep it going. So here we're seeing that aspect of Tiger Body come out to attack. It has the go again. And there is a playable Tiger in that banish zone. Probably not going to get too much value.
Yeah, but you don't worry too much if you're not going to get too much value. It's fine. You're just trying to get your extended turns, aren't you? And at least if it's in banish, it's not filling up your hand. So we might just see it played out for 0 just to get it, just to see it. But maybe we'll see some value out of it.
Absolutely.
Of course, that Art of War would have been perfect for getting value out of those Tigers, but unfortunately, it hit the banish. So
especially if you're playing that 4 or 5 card or 4 or 5 attack turn here as well. Noah, once again, evaluating that life total. How much is the damage worth? How much is the block worth? How close does he think he is with that combo that will let him push up and over? He's seen an Oasis Respite, so he knows they're in the deck.
And yes, a comment from Luminite about just got back for the Talishar. Yes, so Talishar, obviously the thing that we saw in US Nats was Zephyr Needles to get that 2 and 2 for 4 value. Now there are multiple ways to get to 4 value out of 2 pitch, and Talishar's the other way. You've got pros and cons there, haven't you? In terms of the Zephyr Needle, you could always get more than 12 value, whereas Talishar is really locked into that short game with only 12 value before it gets broken.
Definitely, and especially against Kano, who's I think people underrate as a deck that just blocks really well. You have so many 3 blocks in that deck. All those wizard non-attack action cards without go again, they all block 3. The only thing that doesn't block are your potions. But yeah, most Kanos would be absolutely thrilled saying, yeah, sure, turn 1, turn 2, I'll give up 2 cards because I know all I need to do is arsenal this wildfire on my turn. I'll destroy your needles. So Talishar, doesn't give them the option of that destruction. And if you know the game's going that short anyways.
So we've got 2 Kano activations. We'll pay attention here because this combo could be... Oh, we see a Kindle in hand. So let's see if we start seeing draw cards from Kindle.
So that Potion of Deja Vu being cracked here, and we know there's that Blazing, and again, I believe it was a Lesson of Lava that was pitched as well. So those are going right back to the top. No one knows what he's going to be banishing, what he's drawing off that amp. So presumably we're looking to draw that blue. Those Kano activations are going to hit those lovely Kano specializations. Or sorry, it was Tome of Aetherwind, not Blazing. My apologies.
And being able to play at that Tome as an instant is going to be amazing value. So here we go. No, in the tank here, just thinking his turn through. You see with Kanos, they all have their little ability. I've not seen the spinning a card trick before when you're doing your maths. So that's a new one for Noah. We've got his signature move.
It's everybody needs one, and I admire the creativity. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely. To bring the cards into it, normally people tap or do hand signals to really bring the cards into your thinking.
Yeah.
Great innovation there from Noah. Okay. And that Lesson in Lava as well. Being able to shoot a card and put it on top deck is going to be great if you want to be pulling off a combo here. So whether he wants to go big or whether he just pull off a smaller combo, we'll see.
Ooh, and unfortunately not quite what you're looking for if you're Noah. Although now you are very tempted off of the effect of that amp. Oh. Do you amp into Wildfire or do you amp into Lesson in Lava to then, find a blue to Ragamuffins to then try to extend? Is this turn the one that's worth playing on? Your opponent has 2 floating with a card in hand still. Emad, this is notably still Emad's turn. Yes. It's just the end of it. Important thing to remember. And there are those resources floating.
And the other thing to remember, hydration, very important. Great from Kashy to see while he's got the time just to get a drink. And we see there, Blazing Ether and 2 Wildfires. That's exactly what you want, but not in your hand in Arsenal. You only want one of those. The rest you want on top deck.
Exactly.
So this could have been an amazing if he had some blues and in fact he probably could have done an amazing blind Kano there if he only knew it was on top. But that's the problem with Kano, you just never know what's coming.
Well, that's the thing. Noah has planned this turnout so well with the Potion of Deja Vu, right? He knows what he's banishing off that Kano. If you did chance it and he did go for that blind Kano, this time it would have worked out. I'm sure all the other times when he was practicing, it would not have worked out. So we are committing into the Striders here. So we are going big on this turn.
And of course that Lesson in Lava will allow a Blazing Ether to be put on top deck as well. So he can still pull off some sort of combo here.
So now we're seeing the Ragamuffins. Ooh, drawing into another Wildfire.
Okay, that's terrible, isn't it? That's going to be rough. He's
really hoping into that
resources. Blue there. Okay, keeping a track of what's been activated in the resources. So he really wants the blue there, didn't he, to be able to pay for his Kano to play off the Blazing Ether from the top.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, is that all 3 Wildfires? One in the pitch, one in Arsenal, and one in hand.
Yeah, and it looks like the resources aren't quite there to make it work. Neither the action points, rather. So we've seen the Strider's activation. One more blue card would smooth this out very, very nicely. But Noah's now trying to make the best of a difficult corner.
Absolutely. Of course, he was setting up a turn that he could plan with the Lesson in Lava, being able to control what you put on top deck. Yeah. But sometimes the cards you draw, they really dictate the turn for you. Unfortunately, all the things he'd want to be looking for, he's ended up drawing. So it could have been this is a really difficult situation for Noah to navigate here. Let's see how he does it.
He does still have the Spellfire Cloak online, so that could sneak out one more resource. And with that Energy Potion, you can have a very nice turn. The question is it enough to deal 36 damage through 4 Arcane Prevention at a bare minimum?
And with Kano, it's all about these little interactions and the sequencing. In fact, these are both sequencing decks, aren't they? So really is a very tight game on both sides.
Yep. And that's it. So Emad instantly flipping over the Oasis Respite, targeting that Aether Wildfire, using the floating pitch to just fully blanket.
It's not what no one wants to see. So he's used up his Striders there, and it's been completely blanked. So that's pretty much the worst case scenario here for Noah right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yep.
pitch the last card, you throw in some chip damage and see what you can do. Interestingly enough, this will allow Noah to put a Wizard non-attack on the top of his deck, so he could, well, assuming this hits, I can't imagine it won't in some capacity. You can find, that Tome of Aetherwind to then on your turn get ready, try to build your own combo away from Wildfire into, that old school Kano play before they printed Wildfire, where you had to chain tomes and, make it work on your turn.
And really, Kenny choosing when to pop off is pivotal here. You could see he was setting something up with Lesson in Lava, but unfortunately, it just seemed that the cards that he wanted to see later, he saw immediately, and no blues, which is just terrible for trying to play Kenny's ability.
And it's one of those scenarios where, maybe if you wait a little while, you can see a little bit more blue in your hand. You can sculpt it, because he didn't start with that 4 blue hand that you really want to start with. So now we're drawing up. We know one of those is that Cindering, which is a very useful ability.
Yep, so great to see clean play from both players. So he's just passing priority there before he drew up there. So okay, and now back to Kashy with his full hand. So we got a Levels of Enlightenment. Are we going to see a Transcend here? Of course, one of the downside of Transcend cards is they don't block, but against Kano you don't really mind because they're 3, so they block maximum.
They pitch as well as they can.
Okay, so we're just seeing a small, again, just trying to preserve, always trying to keep that card in hand. Very tight play from the Zen. There we go, putting 1 counter on the Talishar. That Talishar is going to break eventually. And certainly we might, so that's really a decision point, whether you put an Arsenal Levels or an Ancestral Harmony.
I imagine you probably Arsenal the Ancestral Harmony, just because there's fewer stipulations to play out with it. But I'm not an expert Zen player, so we'll see.
So Spindle, another power.
No,
he can't help but laugh. I think that's all 3 red Oasis now.
It is all 3 Oasis. And on the upside, though, no one knows that, okay, now probably all I have to deal with is that equipment that I see on the board. So just the fact that you've seen that 3rd Oasis go, it's unfortunate that a lot of your combo cards aren't quite where you wanted them to be, jumping the gun maybe a tad in some capacities, especially against that much armor. But now we'll see how it goes.
But the other thing is that now Zen's got 2 AB. We've seen Kashy. He's slowed down slightly. He's not playing these big aggro hands. He's just playing this 4 and 5 and these much smaller attack hands. So maybe he's thinking, not doing a full fatigue, but certainly just slowing the game down. If you're not worried about Striders so much anymore, maybe just slowing down and just taking it methodically and dealing with these power cards as they come.
Yeah, it's something you can do against Kano. However, it can be a little bit risky. You may be able to afford 1 or 2 turns going a little bit slow, but when Noah's swinging in with that much opt off of Cindering, off of Aether Spindle, Noah will be able to craft himself some type of combo to swing back with. Whether it's enough to punch through all 4 of that Arcane Prevention and 33 life in time, we'll wait and see. But if Emad keeps playing it slow and keeps giving Noah the space to do this, he may run out of runway if he keeps going slow.
Zen just going below 30, and of course when you go below 30, that's when you start to be a little worried. Now we know the Wildfire's at the bottom there, but all it takes is the Levels and Lava to shuffle the deck, and then you can be starting to be a bit more worried.
Yep, and we can see here Emad deciding not taking it slow this turn, taking all the damage off the Aether Flare, and then taking all that damage off the follow-up. And it looks like, we're definitely going to be transcending.
Yeah, playing out that blue 100 wins just to be able to transcend bollocks of things. Okay, yep. No, not too worried there.
Oh, interesting.
I know we said it would be a 3-turn game, but now we're on to turn 5. This is good in unexpected directions.
Yep. Emad slowed it down for a couple turns, so we know this isn't the end of Emad's turn because there is that path well traveled in hand. This may be Noah's window. Once that path well traveled gets played, before it goes back into hand as a pitchable card, Emad's defenses go down. That arcane prevention that we've been benchmarking it for this whole game may stick at 3. Oh, but there go those 2 cards to protect that.
Oh, but being 9 health, No does have to watch his life total now. He is already reaching the end of the runway.
Definitely. So now we're seeing the Zen Hero ability come out.
May not be the biggest turn, but right now I don't think he needs a big turn. He just needs to keep up the consistency. So very tight play here, shown from Kashy.
Worth noting, Emad consciously chose to close the combat chain there, possibly considering finding 100 wins at some point in the future, but doesn't look like it's happening. We're going for the Tiger line. 0 for 4 go-agains, really good.
Yep, Tiger Stripe, always scary. Everyone remembers that from the days of the Tiger Cat 2. A bit of a meme deck, but it could do its plan very well.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And there's another Tiger into another swipe, so that's another 4 go again.
We've moved from Marvel Tigers into Japanese Tigers by the looks of things.
We're lots of fantastic variety that we're seeing from these players.
Okay, double Tiger swipe there. Great turn. Okay, and now we've got 2 epots, so we can block and he could go down to 1, and all we can do now is to try and Kano. Okay.
Kano a little bit, maybe find some chip damage, but I think you definitely want to be playing out that second energy potion. It opens up the turns in future. You're backed against a wall. Maybe these blind Kanos do come up your way.
Yep. And of course, both players are next 2 bracket. So I think 1 or 2 X3s might get in, but certainly you're fighting an uphill battle at that point, aren't you? So really, both players are really playing for survival here.
Yeah. Hit the blazing off the top. Not much to be done with it now, unfortunately.
You would have loved that turn earlier, wouldn't you? Just be able to play out those epots, but unfortunately it's too late, and of course with Strider's gone, it's difficult.
Emad here choosing to play both these Transcend cards out really quickly at the end of Noah's turn. Notably, if he were to play it on his own turn, Noah would have had all 4 of those cards to be able to respond to 2 blues that will be coming back to hand, but there is a window where they are not in hand, and those defenses are very much down. So Emad starting again with that Zen Hero ability.
Finding those windows against Wizards is absolutely essential. You don't want to be caught with no cards in hand. To be able to do that when they can't do anything back to you, very smart play and very tight there from Kashy.
Yeah. A lot of times the way to beat a wizard is to think like a wizard and say, well, okay, you're doing weird things in my priority windows. Maybe I have to do some weird things in your priority windows to get a couple of those edge points back.
Yes. So I expect we might be seeing a Kano trying to do as much as they can this turn, being on 1. Here we go. Noah's realizing his predicament. It's a tough situation.
It is indeed. And you know what? Art of War on this Tiger can be a real sneaky way to kill you. There's lots of, annoying little things you got to think about. There we go. So here we've got
Chase the Tail.
Yeah. So we've seen a lot of Tiger base cards coming out from Emad today. We've seen a little bit of Bonds and a little bit of Descendant, but I think, we've seen a lot of this aspect of Tiger. We're seeing the Chase the Tail. We've seen the Tiger swipes as well. So it is a little bit more on the proper cat side of the deck.
And of course, Chase the Tail is basically a 1 for 7, giving you next Tiger plus 3. So it's a very dangerous card when it gets its full optimization.
Definitely. Well, and that optimization is coming through because that aspect of Tiger body in the Banish will create another Tiger off of Chase the Tail. Well, it will see the previous red Chase the Tail and then play out.
Yep. Kano can see Noah here can see the writings on the wall, but he's still laughing through it. Let's see what he can pull out. 25 damage. It's going to be a struggle without that Striders, but okay, maybe.
Gaze the Ages.
Okay. Oh, okay. At least it saved him from eye on top of the deck.
Absolutely. That's, the only thing better than drawing the Eye of Ophidia is being able to play the Gaze of Ages and then dodge the Eye of Ophidia right afterwards. So we're doing Gaze into Gaze. We are really able to sculpt this, and we're finding a tome up there.
Wow.
So that's going to be another blue that's going to come to hand and something else being drawn off that tome.
So Kano really playing to the outs. He's not going down without a fight. So let's see where he can pull. And pulling off 2 more blues, and that's fantastic. Drawing the blues and playing the reds is exactly what you want to see at this point.
Definitely. He has the resource base. He's also got those energy potions floating still. Now it's just a question of, can he find the damage? Not quite.
No, he can't find it. Okay, fantastic game there. And an interesting situation there. The Kano
Indeed.
was doing really well, and unfortunately, drew into the cards that he wanted on top deck.
Yep. And I think it goes to show that, it's one thing to find the combo in Kano. It's another thing to carry it all the way through.